Now, Wakili, there is this other type of marriage. I don't know if it is a type. Now you're here to tell us. Inaitwa Come We Stay. Is it a type?
No, Come We Stay is not a type of marriage.
Hello, good people. Welcome again to this channel, Liz Wataka Show. Karibuni sana. My name is Liz. And today I have with me
Agnes.
Wakili in the house. We were talking about types of marriages. We handled customary marriage, handled the civil one, and today we want to handle another one called Christian marriage. Wakili, take us through. What is this Christian marriage? Ni harusi ambayo imeokoka ama?
Our Christian marriage is celebrated by those who profess the Christian faith. And now this is, I think most of us know about Christian marriages, this era and age. We want to go to church and do this big wedding and just be joined by a man of God, maybe whether it's in a garden or in a church. That is what we basically say is a Christian marriage. Other than the registrar, is the man of cloth who is officiating the marriage.
Oh,
yes.
So ni as in you mean it's this yenye tunaita harusi kwa kanisa?
Yeah, harusi ya kanisa. That is exactly, yeah.
Okay. Now we know.
Yes.
Keep the questions coming. Wakili, I have a question. I have a question here from one of our viewers. Na anauliza, what are the grounds ya kusimamisha wedding? Kusimamisha wedding. I think this is that part where the priest asks, now before I join the two, is there anyone, it's called a, inaitwa nini session, that part. What are the grounds?
People, there is, you see they usually file notice, the 21 days notice with the registrar. Even in a Christian marriage, the registrar has to be made aware there is a wedding that will take place in such and such a date. And this couple also have to present that. You see that card that people invite people for, harusi.
Yes.
That one, you have to go with it to the registrar, plus your document. You still have to go to the registrar, present yourself, and plus that card, the invitation card, harusi, and you have to, the minister of faith that will officiate the wedding has to be authorized to do that by the registrar. So you need to go, there is a serial number, every book, every church that officiates wedding, there is a book they are given. The minister of faith is given a book with the, you go with the serial number of those, there are so many marriage certificates that are there. So there is a serial number that the registrar needs to know that this wedding will take place in such a place. The officiating minister of faith is this, and this is the serial number of the book that you'll be using. Because if you're officiated by a person who is not authorized to, now that marriage will not be recognized by law. So even if it's a Christian marriage, the registrar has to be involved. The church and the registrar, they have to work together. Yes. And now the grounds for this objection comes in within this notice period, the 21 days notice period. If you've been married before and you have not dissolved your previous marriage, you cannot get married in a civil or in a Christian marriage. So, and also, if you're in a polygamous or potentially polygamous marriage, you cannot then purport to go get married in a monogamous marriage. But if it's polygamous and this is the wife that you had and you only have one wife, you can decide this is the wife that I will take and marry her in church. And now that changes your marriage to be monogamous. But if you have other wives that you have acquired through customary marriage, you cannot then go to church and marry another wife in this other type of marriage. So you decide which part you want to. It's either you want a Christian marriage or a customary marriage or a civil marriage. But those are some of the objections that can be brought forward by a party who has previously been married and the marriage is not dissolved. And a person, probably some chiefs that they are widowed, and then the wife just appears that I am not dead. Yes. Those are some of the objections that come up during that period. You can, within the notice period of 21 days. Yes.
Okay. Now we understand. Hey, my viewers, I'm telling you that is the lawyer in the house, the English Oga. But I know you've picked what you've had. You've picked yours, I've picked mine. I know we've not picked all, but we've picked some. The lawyer in the house. Now, Agnes, tell us, why do people fear public weddings? Because I've realized is like it's something that is common nowadays. People fear public weddings.
The reason most people fear public weddings is sometimes it is exaggerated. If you see these celebs and they exaggerate their weddings on social media, and then there is this aspect that this thing is so expensive. Why go through the hassle, and I can take this girl and this and we just stay together without issues. And sometimes the society has ballooned it in such a way that you need money. You will hear of weddings of 2 million, 3 million, and it doesn't have to be that expensive. So it's up to you. Or someone has a wife somewhere and they know there will be objection if they publicize this wedding. So it's up to you as an individual to decide what you want. Marriage is not expensive. No, the wedding itself, it's not expensive. It's up to you to decide. Do I want to go this celeb way or exorbitance, or what do I want in this man? If two parties love each other, you do not have to incur a lot of money that you don't have, or go into debt and you don't have this money.
Yes.
I think these parties should be able to understand. And when especially men fear when it comes to those expenses, and maybe the lady is so excited and this lady wants this public wedding and everyone knows. So I think it's up to the parties to decide, we can do this thing. And even nowadays in churches, in Christian marriages, during a service, a normal service, if you've gone through the process of the counseling and the registrar, the pastor will just call you forward and tell the crowd. And within the 21 days, yes, there will be notice in the church. And then the pastor calls them and says that these two parties are getting married. And during the service, the marriage is officiated. And that is okay.
Wait, young men, sijui kama mmesikia hapo. During the service, the pastor can call the two parties and officiate the wedding. Yes. Repeat that.
Yes, as long as the pastor has said, we intend to officiate this wedding during this service, the notice period of 21 days. So when the 3 Sundays pass, the 4th Sunday, they can officiate. And this process of the registrar, you have with the pastors, you're working in the background, you've gone to the registrar, you've done all what is required to be done. And the 3 Sundays past the 21 days notice, the 4th Sunday, which will be now past the 21 days, you just be called and your wedding is officiated.
Yes.
You don't have to have a ceremony. And the witnesses will be all the church members that have attended service that day.
It sounds very nice. And it's cheap, eh?
And it is very cheap.
Watu wanakula kwao.
Most pastors understand, yes.
Watu wanakula kwao and you've gone with your wife and you have a certificate.
And you have a certificate.
Wow.
Unarudi home na certificate, yes.
That is very interesting. Then someone has written a comment here. Okay, it's a suggestion. Anasema yeye, it's a he. He feels that people fear public weddings because maybe one party alikuwa ametembea sana, ama maybe akona relationships mob, or maybe has a child with someone and fears atakuja kusimamisha. Is that
that is not a ground if this thing was not is not legally recognized. And if you are honest with your spouse when you are dating, and this person already knows there is a child outside and we are supporting this child, the other party has no right of coming to stop your wedding, because I know, my partner knows there is a child outside.
Now, Wakili, there is this other type of marriage. I don't know if it is a type. Now you're here to tell us. Inaitwa Kamuiste. Is it a type?
No, Kamuiste is not a type of marriage. So if you've been living with a person for 1 or 2 years or 3 years, yes, the society can recognize them as your wife, but legally you need to register that marriage. Either you decide whether it's customary, you decide whether it's a civil marriage. Yes.
So come we stay is not recognized.
Come we stay is not a type of marriage.
It's not even a type of marriage.
It's not a type of
Why,
marriage.
watu
Yes.
wangu, mmesikia hiyo story? Come we stay is not a type of marriage. So tusidanganyane huko nje. Ini sheria inasema, sheria ni kali, inakata kwote. So I hope you've heard that. Come we stay is not a type of marriage, and she has explained. Now, Wakili, thank you so much for your time, but I would request you to do a recap of the 3 types of marriages, but I have a very kind request. I know you are a learned friend, na mko na terms, mko na vocabularies, but I kindly request you do a recap in Kiswahili.
Oh,
I want all my people to hear customary marriage, civil marriage, and Christian marriage in Kiswahili. Very fast, very brief.
Like we said,
in Kiswahili.
In Kiswahili,
yes.
It might be a bit, Asheng might be a bit easier, but customary ni ile unataka, it's polygamous, unaweza kuwa na bibi si mmoja peke yake, uko na bibi kadhaa, but una need kuregister na registrar of marriages, ama ile mnasema una need kuregister na AG, hata ni general's office, there is a registrar mwenye ataenda afanye hiyo registration ya marriage yako, na si kwa wife moja, because yako ni polygamous ya bibi wengi, unaweza register hizo marriages kama polygamous. Yes.
So kwa hali ya kawaida, customary ni kama rorasho.
Customary sasa ni ile ina require. Unaona every community kuna like Kikuyus tunakuanga na rurashio. Luyas wanakuanga na
I think Ihwe, if I'm not wrong.
Kuna hiyo koito.
Huko kwetu pia.
Yes. So it depend na the community, ni rituals gani community yenyu inadai ndio ifaseme umeolewa, ama kuna wengine wanaendanga wanapeleka sijui karabash na wine na sijui nini. Ina depend what community yako inataka nini as terms, kama ni dowry ama ni ritual gani inafanywa ndio msemekane sasa mumeoana in the community. Yes. Then
I know sasa mnaanza kushika something. Koito, Ihwe, and the rorasho are under customary marriage. Let's go to civil.
Then civil ni ile mnaenda tu kwa AG, ni wawili na witnesses wenyu, mshapeana notice ile ya 21 days zenye inakuwa required, whether it's under special, there is muna do away with your 21 days notice. Then you just go with muende na witness wako kwa registrar, na munashikanishwa harusi. Na ni very cheap.
Okay. So viewers, hii ni ile tunasemanga harusi ya kwa AG. Huko nyumbani tulikuwa tunasikia harusi ya kwa DC. This one. Then Christian
ni ile mnashikanishwa na pastor. The minister of faith ni anawashikanisha hapo either mbele ya church kwa service, ama ile harusi inafanywa kwa garden, ama ile harusi inaweza kuwa tu church but it's a big ceremony that is held. But venye tumesema si lazima ikuwe ceremony, hata kaa kuna service, during the service as long as mumenda zile process za the legally required processes za law na registrar na the minister of faith, after 21 days unaweza shikanishwa. Yes.
But at the end of the day, zote kuna vile utapata a legal document.
Yes, there is all of them, lazima mpitie kwa AG.
Okay. Last question from our viewers. Is the Wakili married?
The Wakili is married.
Thank you. Toa akili hapo viewer. Wakili has gone. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much for the comments. Zimeflow sana. We've answered a few because of time, but maybe another day we'll get time and come and expound more. Thank you for your time. Continue sharing, and let's meet again in another episode. This is Liz Wataka Show. Please share. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
God bless you.